My mother ordered me to end it, but I won't give up my love for the kingdom. She looked at me with eyes that carried the weight of 1,000 years of royal duty, her voice trembling with both authority and fear. My mother, the queen who once taught me that love was the purest form of courage, now stood before me demanding I destroy the very thing that made me feel alive. How could she not see that my heart no longer beats for the throne or the golden crown, but for the woman who made me believe I could be more than just a prince bound by tradition and politics? The walls of the palace echo her command even now. Every corner whispers of obedience. Every step I take feels like a betrayal of my own heart. I was raised to serve the kingdom, to obey without question, to sacrifice my desires for the greater good. But what if the kingdom I protect is built on the ruins of my own soul? I can't let my heart become another casualty of royal expectations. I remember the way my love looked at me that night, her hands trembling as if she already knew what my mother would say. She told me to choose wisely, to think of my people, of my future. But how can I lead a kingdom when I cannot even lead my own heart? Every time I close my eyes, I see her smile fading into the shadows of the palace gates, her voice drowned beneath the echoes of royal commands. My mother believes that ending this love will save our name, protect the purity of our bloodline, and preserve the kingdom's stability. But what is stability if it's built on broken hearts and silenced souls? I am the prince, yet I've never felt more powerless. The crown that once glittered in my dreams now feels like a shackle tightening around my neck with every passing day. I know she fears what this love could bring: war, scandal, rebellion. Perhaps she's right. Perhaps my love for her could destroy everything my ancestors built. But I'd rather burn in the ashes of honesty than rule in the comfort of lies. If the kingdom demands that I sacrifice the one person who makes me feel human, then maybe the kingdom never truly deserved my loyalty. I am my mother's son, but I am also a man in love, and that love is not something I can bury under royal decrees or political fears. Let the world call me reckless, let the council call me a disgrace. At least my heart will not bow to the crown. Even if my mother disowns me, even if the kingdom turns against me, I will not surrender this love, because someday history will not remember me as the prince who obeyed. It will remember me as the one who defied. The nights have grown longer since her command. I walk through the silent corridors of the palace, hearing the whispers of servants fade into the dark. They look at me differently now, like a man already condemned, like a prince who dares to love against the throne's will. Every echo of my footsteps reminds me that I am being watched, that every glance and every breath could become a rumor carried to my mother's ears. But I no longer care. What power does fear hold over a heart that has already chosen its fate? In the quiet of my chambers, I find myself reaching for letters I'll never send. I write her name again and again, as if the ink itself can keep her close. The kingdom sleeps while I fight a war within myself, between my duty and my desire, between my bloodline and my heart. I've seen generals wage battles for land and power, but none of their wars compare to the one raging inside my chest. I am the prince, yet I feel like a prisoner of my own blood. Every time I see my mother, her eyes pierce through me like cold steel. She speaks of loyalty, of the kingdom's survival, of sacrifices made by kings before me. She reminds me that love is fleeting, but legacy endures. Yet she forgets that legacy without love is nothing but an empty throne. I wonder if she ever truly loved, or if she too was once forced to surrender her heart for the crown she now worships. Perhaps she only fears that I will repeat her pain, but I cannot live in fear of love. The council has already begun to whisper. They say the prince has lost his sense, that he's bewitched by a woman unworthy of the royal blood. They don't know her like I do. They don't know how her laughter silences the chaos in my mind, how her touch reminds me that beneath all this gold and pride, I am still human. They see her as a threat, I see her as my salvation. If loving her makes me a traitor, then I accept my fate willingly. I look at the throne now, and it no longer shines for me. It feels cold, like a relic of a life I no longer desire. My mother wants me to protect it, to protect the power that defines us. But what if power means losing myself completely? What if the kingdom I meant to rule demands I kill the part of me that still feels, still dreams, still loves? I cannot wear a crown that demands such cruelty. Sometimes I imagine walking away, leaving behind the titles, the duty, the expectations, just me and her, somewhere beyond the borders of this cursed palace. No guards, no counsel, no mother's command, just two souls free from the chains of royalty. It's a dangerous dream, but it's the only place where my heart feels safe. Maybe that's why I hold on to it so tightly, because dreams are all that's left when reality becomes unbearable. Still, a part of me wonders how long I can defy them all. How long before they take her away from me, before they use their power to destroy what little happiness I have left. My mother believes she's saving me, but she's only pushing me further toward the edge. And when that day comes, when I am forced to choose between her command and my heart, I already know what I would choose. I will choose love, even if it means losing everything else. The moon has become my only confidant now. It watches me each night as I stand on the balcony, staring into the vast silence beyond the palace walls. Somewhere out there, she's breathing under the same moonlight, unaware of the storm brewing within these golden halls. I whisper her name into the wind, hoping somehow it reaches her. But the air here is thick with judgment, and even the stars seem afraid to carry my love beyond the walls that confine me. Each morning, I put on the mask my mother expects to see: a dutiful son, a prince devoted to his people, a man who feels nothing but loyalty to his crown. But beneath that mask, I am falling apart. Every council meeting, every royal ceremony feels hollow, meaningless. The courtiers bow, the servants smile, but none of them see the truth, that I am losing myself with every passing day. The prince they see is a shadow, a creation of duty, not the man I truly am. I tried to reason with my mother once more, but her heart has turned to stone. She speaks of alliances of enemies, of fragile peace that could shatter if I choose love over politics. She does not see that her peace is built on silence, her order on suppression. I told her I would rather live in chaos with love than in peace without it. Her silence after those words was sharper than any blade. I saw disappointment in her eyes, perhaps even fear that I might become the kind of ruler who follows his heart instead of his throne. The days blur into one another now. The garden where she once met me has been locked. The guards doubled. The letters I try to send never reach her. Still I write. I write as if words can defy the iron walls that surround me. My mother believes she has ended it, but love cannot be ended by decree. It lives in silence, in memory, in the age of separation that no power on earth can erase. Every beat of my heart defies her order. I have begun to notice the way the kingdom looks at me, like a prince who has lost control, a ruler unfit for the crown. Perhaps they are right. For what is a ruler if he cannot command his own heart? But I would rather be a broken prince than a heartless king. My people deserve a ruler who understands pain, who knows what it means to choose love even when it costs everything. Maybe one day they will see that my defiance was not rebellion, it was truth. I often dream of her standing before the throne, unafraid, her eyes burning with the same fire that first drew me to her. In my dreams, I step down from the dais, cast aside the crown, and take her hand in front of them all. The courtiers gasp, my mother's face pales, but I feel free. Even if it's only a dream, it feels more real than anything in this palace. Perhaps that is what frightens them, the idea that love could be stronger than power. And so I remain here, caught between destiny and desire, between duty and defiance. My mother's words still echo in my mind. Her order still weighs upon my soul. But love, my love, is stronger than her command. It burns quietly within me, unyielding, eternal. And though the kingdom may one day crumble under the weight of my choices, I will not regret them. For in a life surrounded by obedience and silence, loving her is the only truth I have ever known. The palace feels emptier with every passing day, even though it's filled with people. Every servant's bow, every night's salute feels like a reminder that I am alone in a world that demands perfection but denies emotion. The laughter that once filled these marble halls has turned to echoes, and my reflection in the gilded mirrors looks more like a ghost than a prince. I was born to rule, yet I feel more like I'm being ruled by expectations, by fear, by a destiny I never asked for. The weight of the crown feels heavier now, not on my head but on my heart. Sometimes I wonder if love was ever meant for someone like me. Princes are not taught to love, we're trained to conquer, to command, to choose alliances over affection. But when I met her, all those lessons vanished like smoke. She made me forget the throne, the politics, the endless rules. She reminded me that beneath the armor and the titles I am still human. My mother calls that weakness, I call it truth. And I will not apologize for feeling what generations of kings were too afraid to feel. At night, when the world sleeps, I walk the corridors that lead to the old tower where I used to meet her. It's forbidden now, sealed by my mother's orders, but still, I stand at its door. I press my palm against the cold wood and close my eyes, as if the memory of her touch could seep through time and space to reach me. I can almost hear her laughter, see the way her eyes lit up when she called me by my name. Not your highness, not my lord, just me. Only she saw the man behind the prince. Only she loved him. My advisors grow restless. They think I'm distracted, unfit to rule, too emotional to make hard decisions. But they know nothing of hard decisions. They have never had to choose between the crown and their heart, between their mother's command and their lover's tears. They believe power means control. But true power is the ability to feel deeply and still stand tall. And though my heart trembles beneath the weight of what I've chosen, I will not bow to the cold logic of politics. I will not trade love for obedience. I've begun to sense my mother's fear, not for the kingdom, but for me. She doesn't understand the kind of love that burns quietly but refuses to die. To her, love is weakness. To me, it is defiance. I think she sees my father in me, his passion, his stubbornness, his refusal to bend. Perhaps that's why she fights me so fiercely. She lost him to the same fire that now consumes me, and she would rather see me empty than risk seeing me break. But I am not my father, and I will not live in the shadow of their tragedy. Each sunrise brings new rumors of alliances threatened, of nobles displeased, of chaos brewing at the borders. The kingdom trembles, and they blame my heart for it. Let them. If my love can shake the foundations of a throne built on centuries of lies, then maybe it deserves to fall. Maybe the world needs to remember that even a prince bleeds when he's forced to choose between duty and desire. I am not ashamed of the storm my love has created. I only wish she knew how much I would sacrifice to keep her safe within it. And yet, in the quietest moments, I wonder if she still thinks of me. Does she watch the horizon, waiting for a sign that I haven't given up? Does she still believe in the promises I whispered beneath the stars? I have no way of knowing, but I must believe she does, because if she has forgotten me, then I have truly lost everything. My mother can take my crown, my council can strip me of my power, but they cannot erase her from my heart. And as long as it beats, she will remain the reason I defy the world. The dawn breaks, but it brings me no peace. The golden light that spills across the marble floors feels hollow now, as if the sun itself mourns with me. Every morning, the palace awakens to its rhythm of duty and deception, and I play my part once again, the obedient prince, the loyal son, yet beneath the silk and armor I am unraveling. My heart beats for someone who is no longer beside me, and every sunrise without her feels like a punishment written by the gods themselves. My mother's words haunt me more than any sword could. She said love weakens kings, that it turns their hearts soft and clouds their judgment. But what is a king without a heart? What is power without compassion? She believes she is saving me, but she does not see that she's destroying what little remains of my soul. I look at her and wonder if this is what love becomes when it is buried beneath years of duty. Cold, sharp, unyielding. She calls it wisdom. I call it surrender. I used to think the throne was everything. From the moment I could walk, I was taught that the crown is sacred, that it is my destiny. But now destiny feels like a chain I was born to lead, yet every step forward feels like a march toward emptiness. What use is a crown that cost me my heart? The people call me their future king, but I envy the simplicity of their lives. To love freely, to choose without fear of consequence. I would trade all my titles for one more day with her hand in mine. I still remember her eyes, the way they carried both fire and gentleness, the way they made me believe in something greater than power. When she smiled, I felt like the world was no longer cruel. She saw through the prince and touched the man beneath. No one else ever did. She gave me strength, not by kneeling before me, but by standing beside me. And now that she's gone, I feel that strength slipping away, piece by piece, replaced by a silence that grows heavier with each passing hour. They tell me time will heal, but how can time heal a wound that refuses to close? Every corner of this palace carries her ghost. The gardens where we laughed, the halls where we whispered, the balcony where I promised her forever. I keep hearing that promise in my own voice, and it burns like a curse. I told her I'd never let go, and now, even as the world tries to pry her from my soul, I hold on. Maybe that's my defiance, my rebellion, to love her even when loving her destroys me. At night, I hear music from the grand hall, the laughter of nobles celebrating victories that mean nothing to me. I stay away from the light, from the noise, from the lies. I stand by the window, my hands clenched, imagining a different life, one where I am not a prince, not bound by blood or law, but simply a man who can love without consequence. That dream keeps me alive. That dream and the memory of her voice calling my name as if I were more than a title, more than a crown. Maybe one day history will judge me, call me foolish, call me weak, call me a prince who lost himself to love. Let the poets twist my story into tragedy, and the scholars write my fall into their books. For all I know, they may be right, but at least I will have lived with truth in my heart. And when the final chapter of my life is written, I would rather it say he loved and lost than he obeyed and became